Yeah, I figured since I got a raise, I'd treat myself, and
Which is good.
they're re-releasing the Final Fantasy XIV Shiva figure,
Ooh.
and I didn't have money for that the first time it came out, and I want it. I especially want it because it comes with a cool emote that you can only get with that figure.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Super dope.
it's super cool, and I need it for Kaito's performances.
You need it. I see.
Yes, it's very important.
It's a business expense.
Yeah, it's business expense.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do a tax write-off.
Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli
And
Warren.
I'm Maddy Grace Webbin.
And I almost said we play a little bit of a book club, but that's not what we do here.
That doesn't. No, that's our other
This is
podcast.
the role-playing game video game.
No, that's our other
play a
podcast,
book club.
RPG Book Club, where they listen to a little bit of RPG Book Club and talk about how it makes them feel.
It's like, is it like the Talking Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Except if they were talking about
Yeah,
the Talking
they're just
Dead.
recapping our show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be amazing. Can someone do that and then send it to us? I'd listen to that. I
Just
don't
like one
listen to
episode
this,
as a bit.
but yeah.
Yeah. It'd be great.
I don't much care for this podcast, but you know.
There was a so I used to listen to the Script Notes podcast a lot with John August and Craig Mason, and one time they did that same bit where instead of putting up an episode, they had someone react to their last episode because they were out of town for the week, and it was great.
God, we really need to do an April Fool's thing sometime.
I know there's so many good,
Actually, speaking
good
of
jokes
listening
that
to
we can do.
Speaking of listening to our podcast, you know, I almost never do, but that's just because I'm busy and only have time in my life for so many podcasts, and also I record it.
Mm-hmm.
But occasionally I do, either because I want to refresh myself on what happened last week, or just for shits and giggles. And you know what? It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I'm actually quite surprised at how much the person who was there, actually quite enjoys listening to it. After the fact, I'm like, hey, this is actually pretty enjoyable. I like this. This is nice.
Yeah.
We're very pleasant.
Yeah. But this week we will be playing a fairly tiny, like minuscule part of this game, because getting to the next plot point was going to be an extra like 3 to 4 hours of playing, and we're recording on Thursday instead of Friday, so we all had about 3 or 4 hours less playtime than we normally do.
I'll explain that in a sec.
Yeah, so it was either stop here and have a really small week, or cram in everything to get to the literal next plot point. So we'll start next week with, so we did that.
Yes.
We'll keep going. So right now we're stopping after getting the Rhieards, so that we get our airship, but not doing any of the airship souping up side quests or sub quests that happen after that. But before we get to all of that, how is everyone's week?
It's fucking Pride! Woo-hoo.
Hells yeah.
I'm super excited.
Don't mind me.
I'm especially excited because tomorrow in Final Fantasy XIV, the award-winning game, which you can currently get for 60% off, and I don't remember the whole shtick.
And you have two expansions free up to the end of Heavensward.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe the exact wording is, hold on, I figure if I just Google the name of it on Twitter, I'll immediately get it.
Yeah.
Wait, did I make a typo when I spelled it or something? Because there's only like 5 tweets that has this phrase. That's, whatever, Twitter's stupid, never mind, go on.
Anyway, there's going to be a big Pride show that I'm participating in, and I'm performing quite a few songs, and I'm very, very excited about that because I'm very queer and I'm very trans, and I get to represent myself through my character, and it's going to be really fun. And I figured out how, so I I have 2 Final Fantasy XIV accounts because I'm insane. And I figured out how to make it work so that I can perform on 2 characters at the same time.
Oh my god. You, Eli. I was just explaining to my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, Eli is like performing music in Final Fantasy. I don't...
Yes.
And then I basically was like, babe, here's the thing, is what I said to my partner. I said... People who are really into MMOs, I have no idea what they do. I have no idea what it is that they do when they're playing the game. I know what I do when I play the game, but when I hear someone like Eli or other people I know who are really into the game talk about, I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, so I just sort of nod and say, that's nice.
Yeah. I'm in the role playing scene, and so like it's a whole different game when you're role playing than it is if you're just PvEing.
Yeah, and I found out this week that I don't know if it's everyone, but it is the first person besides Maddy that I have talked to play the game. Well, Maddy and Eli that talked to about playing the game, and they also were like spending the entire time on their Twitch stream when I was dropping in to say hi, like throwing an in-universe birthday party and like setting up balloons and stuff. So I think me and Maddy are literally I just read it for the articles.
We're the weirdos.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I just play the game for the game and the graphics and the music and the plot and the quests and the battles. I don't know what y'all are doing.
Kaito's birthday is actually 2 days after mine. Kaito is my main character.
See, like, imagine a character having a birthday. That's wild to me.
You have to set your birthday at the beginning of the game when you create your character.
I probably just set it to my own birthday.
Yeah. Why would I not just put in my own birthday?
Sam gets it. No, we're the one who are normal. Everyone else is weird.
Yes.
But yeah, so Kaito's birthday was Sunday, and he had a big party with all of his partners, and it was really sweet and cute and fun. And he's going to sing with one of his boyfriends tomorrow, who I also play. So, please look forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also super fucking stoked for Endwalker. I haven't talked about that yet, but the Fan Fest happened a couple of weeks ago, and it was so good. We're finally getting male Vieira. I'm so happy.
Yeah, and they confirmed...
Sorry, spoilers.
So that's fine. They also confirmed female Lion Boys. They're just not ready yet. So I don't know if that's coming at like a 6.2 type thing, or if that's coming in 7.0 or whatever. But
this has always bothered me. I don't know why they're not just called Ronsos. They are, but not on Heidelin. Mm-hmm. And I can't give away anything more than that. But yeah,
it's just so funny that they're like, oh, these are going to have a different name, just like humans have been called humans before. They're called something else here. So the Ronsos are going to be called the Rothgars, but the Vieiras
are going to be called Vieiras. Yeah, it's very weird. Does not make much sense to me, but whatever. Yeah. But yes, I'm. Things are going well in Final Fantasy for me. Things are going well at work. Despite Burning Crusade happening. But my life's going decently well, and that's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. This week, I did something for the first time since COVID, and it has been great. I went to the library with my family, and it's great.
Libraries
man.
are awesome.
Shout
out to libraries.
Libraries are so good. And like libraries did all they could with like online holds and pickups and all of that stuff. But there's something about just like taking Scarlett to the kid section and being like, pick out 6 books. Like, of course, the answer to this is no. But have you ever tried to ask a kid what they want to read and then search for it on purpose and type it into like the online thing and get the exact books? No, they just want the fucking pink one. So you have to take them there so they can look at the pink one. And it's been great. And like, my favorite thing about going to the library is there's a lot of books that I want to read, but I've forgotten about because like 7,000 books come out every day. And going to the library will be, you'll just be chilling and you'll be like, oh yeah, I always wanted to read yada yada. So my Pride Month pick for manga is Arata the Legend by noted ex-gender mangaka Yuatase, the creator of Fushigi Yugi.
Oh, and wow, I didn't know.
Her English pronouns are she.
Okay.
She, her. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that she was in the trans spectrum.
Yeah, she is.
That's awesome.
Ex-gender, which is dope. So
I love Fushigi Yugi.
Yeah, and so I knew that it existed, but it's not one of the on the forefront of my brain. But while I was in there looking through the manga section, and I'm like, oh shit, they have the first 11 right here, yoink, and it's
nice,
great. Other than that, I have because we shifted our schedule for the podcast, I shifted my schedule for life, and I now have two. My weekends are free, so I have 2 full days where I can just pretend to be going to work and sit down and knock out these video editing projects I have backed up. And it's been great. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel is visible for the first time since I picked up all this extra slack, and it's been going pretty good. So good weekend, or good week all around. What about you, Maddy?
I don't know. I'm just bripping. I had a holiday on Monday, Memorial Day, aka 3-day weekend day. The day where we all celebrate having a 3-day weekend. And it's weird because I normally don't get a holiday because I usually work the kind of jobs where you just don't get a holiday. And for example, my current tutoring job, I tutor kids whenever I feel like tutoring kids. It's really up to me. But my other job, my new job, I was off on Monday, which was really dope. I actually did still have to tutor kids, but one of my 2 jobs was a holiday, which is the one that makes me tired every single day, and makes my legs ache and my back sore. That's the one that was a holiday, so that was nice. But yeah, other than that, I'm just vibing. I finally got to see a psychiatrist, like I've been wanting to do for a billion years, and after I ended up being able to skip the line because I managed to dig up some old paperwork from a previous psych, which allowed me to skip a couple of steps in the excruciatingly long mental health process, because Kaiser is known for taking a million years to get you fucking mental health help. They can be kind of gatekeepy in that way, which is very annoying. But anyway, I talked to the psych, and it was kind of a frustrating conversation. It was mostly good, but also kind of frustrating. He did diagnose me with ADHD and also with some anxiety and maybe a bit of OCD, which I knew I had some OCD tendencies, but everyone I've talked to previously has been like, well, yeah, you have some characteristics of OCD, but it doesn't seem like it's really affecting your life negatively in any kind of way, so we don't need to bother with it. And I'm like, that makes sense to me. I agree, right? It's not really a problem. It's just a way that it's just a thing, right? But this guy was really focused on it, and the anxiety too. And also he really seemed like he was kind of going in the direction of you just need to do lifestyle changes and be better and stuff like that. And I was just like, no, you're going to prescribe me pills for my brain. That's what you're going to do. I didn't say it that strongly. But it basically was like, hey, you're probably right. I could probably get some help with my anxiety and my OCD, but what I would like right now is to do something about my ADHD, which is very bad, and gets in the way of my life. And I sort of redirected the conversation. Anyway, he ended up prescribing me some Adderall, which I've never taken in my whole life. So I'm excited to go and pick it up from the store, the pharmacy, the drug store. I'm excited to go pick it up tomorrow, and probably start on Saturday since I don't work on Saturday. So if it kind of messes my brain up for a bit, I'll be in a safe environment where I'm not doing anything. Oh wait, I'm going to a big party. So that's the other thing I'm doing. On Saturday, I am going to for the an in-person IRL event because everyone in this social group that I'm in is we're all vaccinated and we all miss each other. So we're having a social event, which I'm really, really, really excited about. And I actually just got pinged that someone wants me to help lead some songs at the event. So we're gonna be singing songs. We're gonna be having a potluck. Gonna be probably trying to get used to the idea that we can touch each other, and not just elbow bumping.
Wait. So you're going to Sunday morning service at a Southern Baptist church? There's going to be food, singing songs, and getting okay with the idea that you can touch
basically.
each other.
We're going to be saying Shandai, Hallelujah, preach. We are. I mean, we do have someone flying in to basically give a speech, so that's kind of like a sermon. Anyway, it's really exciting, and I'm just looking forward to it so much. I love these people, and having to like do just Zoom calls every week, or having to just see someone in person, but just sort of like look at them from 6 feet away and be like, hi, maybe do an elbow bump. Like, eventually people, in my experience, people eventually just stopped doing the elbow bumps because it was just like, fuck it. It's not, who even cares anymore?
Right.
But I can like give people a hug, and I'm not going to make it through the whole thing without crying, I assure you. Probably that's right. I can't sing. Okay, so you ever feel like you're going to cry, but you're like, I'm holding it together. But you're only holding it together as long as you don't move your vocal cords. That ever happened to y'all when it comes to crying? Yeah, like if someone says, what's wrong? And you're like, and you just sort of nod, you're fine. But if you try to talk, then it just bubbles out. For me, it's especially if I was singing. So if I'm listening to a sad song, I'm like, I'm fine. But then if I start singing it, I'm dead, right? So I just realized definitely realized I just stepped in a bit of a minefield saying I would lead a song on Saturday. I hope they don't mind me just blubbering through the entire thing. Whatever. Anyway, that I don't know. Other stuff probably happened this week. Who cares? I just watched 5 episodes of Breaking Bad. Season 5, still great. And I'm ready to record some fucking potted cast.
All right, so let's listen to some music.
There is one more thing. I was going to say this earlier. We were talking before we started recording, and I thought I should wait till we start recording to say this thing, and then I forgot about it because of my good brain that works. I somehow got a raise in 2 different jobs simultaneously in the same week.
Oh, yeah.
One of my jobs, I had my twice a year performance review. And the performance review was good. They said I was doing a great job, and I got a raise for both of my hourly rates because when you tutor, you have different rates depending on what you're teaching. And both of my rates got a raise. And then my other job got a raise, even though I've only been there for like a month, because what happened was they raised the hiring position for new hires, and because of union rules, they had to raise the people who they'd already hired. Right, that way the new hires weren't getting paid more than the people hired a month ago. So I didn't do anything to like earn that, but like it's dope, right? So yeah, life is good. I'm making money, and I'm excited to see people again and cry.
We've both gotten raises recently. That's great.
I haven't, but I have children, so the government is giving me a raise next month, so that counts.
It does count.
Yes. Well, let's listen to some music. I don't want to overpromise what it is because I don't actually remember the music from this week. None of it was bad. I just spaced. So we'll listen to something, and then we will talk about our...
The Ozette music was really sad and pretty.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll do the Ozette music and talk about the plot. All right, let's wipe those shit-eating grins off your face because this next one's a sad one.
Oh, it's a gut punch.
So where we last left off is we had picked up this girl, Presea, and she just wanted to go home, and we found out that she had been experimented on and everything, and it was kind of fucked up. So we were heading to this dwarf named Altessa's house to see if he could help us fix her. And on the way, we stopped in at Ozette, which is the town where Presea is from.
Because if you recall from last week, she just wants to go home.
I just want to go home.
Hey, you did it better than me.
Yeah, so I have to embody these characters when I voice acted for Scarlet, so I have a lot of practice. True. But so we get into Ozette, and Presea immediately runs home, and we're like, oh, she's super excited to be here. So we make our way
as excited as she can possibly show,
with no
which is
emotion.
not very much. Yeah.
Yes. So we make our way over there, and we see her talking to Rodile, who we know is bad, but the group does not know is bad yet. And so I forget what they're talking about there, but it's something vague, and it'll be less vague later.
Exactly.
And so she runs inside to tend to her father. So we're like, okay, let's go check up on Presea, see if she's okay. And we walk inside, and everyone's like, what the fuck is that smell? And Presea is making food or medicine or something and taking it over to a person who's on the bed. And I forget who walks over there. I think it's Rain.
Yeah.
Walks over to check on the person with Presea, and that person has been dead for a bunch of years.
Yeah, a long ass time.
And
they
Presea,
dead.
Yeah, he dead.
And so Presea, having her off-brand angel toxicosis, is unaware that the person's dead. She thinks that they're just sick, and she's just been tending to them. And
speaking of that, I just have a real quick tangent. Mm-hmm. So Rain is the one who supposedly coined the term angel toxicosis.
Yeah.
But Ewan, I think it was Ewan.
It's Ewan.
Yeah, Ewan referred to it as the toxicosis at one point. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Were you listening in on the conversation? Did Rain just steal the actual term and claim that it was hers?
She would.
What the fuck? Yeah.
Maybe they just both have the exact same kind of stupid brain and both made it up. Yeah.
Also possible.
Yeah. Also, speaking of this game reminding me of so many other games. I won't say which Dragon Quest game because I don't want to spoil, but extremely depressing and fucked up thing where someone's very clearly dead, but someone else doesn't realize that they're dead is a thing from a Dragon Quest game. I'm not saying they took it. I'm just saying it's cool how many games this game reminds me of.
Yeah. So we try to tell Presea hey, shit's fucked. Come with us. And she's like, no, I have a job to do. I have to take care of them. And so we're like, all right, let's leave her here. Let's go get a key crest and come back and help her out. So we go to Altessa's house, which is one quick hop, skip, and jump away, thankfully, because I remember there being oh, let's go back to it. I'm like, oh shit, I have to go back and do more of this forest dungeon. But no, it's just right there, thankfully. So we make our way over to Altessa's house, where we meet Tabitha, who is a robot, and no one knows that she's a robot yet, but she's obviously a robot. She speaks in all caps.
And with no inflection in her voice. She's definitely a robot.
Yeah, and she's great.
Listen
and so
to the
she's
nice robot.
And so she's like, yeah, you can totally go talk to Altessa. He's right over there. And Altessa's like, fuck you, Tabitha. I said no one can visit me. And we're like, help us with Presea. And he's like, hell no. And so we're
I really wish he'd actually said fuck you.
Right.
Oh, that would have made my day.
So in X-Men First Class, how they saved their one fuck word for Wolverine.
Yes.
Because who else should have it but Wolverine? Oh, yeah. I would love to make a game that's like T for teen, but then you meet one character, like you meet Sid in the late disc 3, and he just cusses constantly. He's just the filthiest person.
That'd be really funny.
It'd be so good.
It would be amazing.
So they're like, hey, we need you to make us a key crest to help Presea. He's like, I don't want anything to do with her. Get out of my house. And Tabitha's like, don't worry. I'll talk to him. I'll loosen him up for you. The Tose Valley mine is right up the way. It has an inhibitor ore. Go and get it. By the time you get back, I'll have weakened him up for you. I'm like, you are a robot that's already like rebelling against your creator. Cool. It's fine. She has so much personality for being a personality-less blob.
Yeah, I kind of love her.
Yeah. So we go to the Toise Valley mine, which I feel something important happens here. I think the main thing
two things happen. One thing that happens is there's a side quest. There's a little guy. There's this NPC who is just a tiny little guy, who asks you to give him a drink. He asks us to give him potion, but the way it's localized is really weird, and I think he just means alcohol. But because potions in this game aren't called potions, they're called apple gel, right? But he's like, I want potion, and we're like, what's potion? Oh, turns out that Izuha Village has Izuha potion, which I didn't buy because the effect that it did wasn't that useful.
I've been buying 30 of everything just because.
Yeah, I didn't buy any of those. So I didn't have the item to give him. So I guess, Eli, you did. What happens when you give this man the side quest?
So he specifically says he wants to eat a potion. And he does just that. He eats it, bottle and all. I don't remember what happened after that.
You will. This is a.
It's just like, what the fuck?
This is a required side quest, so you have to do it for the Temple of Earth next week. But basically, he just goes home, and that's the thing that lets you get in the Temple of Earth, because they're like, oh no, Big Brother is missing, and you can't come in until we find him.
That's actually necessary side quest. Okay, well then I guess I'll go back. Yeah. I was thinking I'll go back later, and then I forgot. And the other thing
I'm so glad I gave him that potion.
The other thing is that, first of all, this dungeon, the dungeons were really good this week. This one was cute. You had to clear away these big rocks by using a new special ability that, not quote, but like they're like, oh yeah, it's this crazy new thing where it condenses the mana into like a little ball, and then it releases its energy all at once to make a lot of force. And I'm like, so it's a bomb. But what's cute isn't just that it's a bomb. Like, I was thinking it'd be like a little shining light of energy that explodes. No, it literally is a little black cartoon spherical bomb with a little fucking wick coming out of it, like in goddamn Looney Tunes. But like, that's actually made of like condensed mana. It's very cute.
It's so good.
So that's one of them. And there's also like, I mean, I like mine levels. There's lots of things moving up and down and shit. The other thing is that they do what this game doesn't do very often, which is they don't give you a boss at the end, which is really cool. Me and my GF are playing Dragon Quest VIII right now, and one thing that I really like about Dragon Quest is that unlike games like Final Fantasy, they don't like have a rule where you like have to have a boss in every dungeon. So there'll be bosses when there's a plot reason for there to be a boss, but more often than not, they're like, let's go get the magical item from the dungeon. And you go, and the dungeon is hard. It's not easy. It's tough. But you get to the bottom of the dungeon, and you get the item, and they're like, cool, bye. And this game actually does that in this dungeon, and this game normally doesn't. It normally has Final Fantasy random made up boss for no reason disease. So I thought it was cute. Yeah, you go in, you get the thing you came for, and you go out, and then a cutscene happens on the way out, and that's the only thing that happens.
Yeah, and I think you learn about Varley here, but we'll touch on it.
So
after.
I guess I can. I mean, I haven't really stretched my brain. So basically, the new guy who joined our party, what's his name?
Regal.
Yeah. We don't know much about him, right? He just has some tragic past that we vaguely allude to. There's a skit where we're like, "What are the chains for?" And he's like, "Oh, the chains remind me of my sin." And Lloyd tries to guess what it is, but his guesses are all really stupid. And he's like, "No." Here we find out what that is. We run into some random guy. Oh, I'm sorry. There is an important thing, Sam. I was supposed to catch you for forgetting stuff, and here I am for forgetting stuff. This dungeon, I realize now, this dungeon did have a random boss. It was just at the beginning of the dungeon. At the beginning, so therefore, when there wasn't a boss later, I had already forgotten about the one earlier. The entrance to the mine is all fucked up. Instead of just going in, like there's like a security system that's all like on the fritz, and basically Regal is like, the security system is on the fritz because someone must have beat the crap out of it. Basically, they like hit it really hard and damaged it, and now it's on the fritz and won't let us in. And Lloyd's suggestion is, well, what if we just beat the shit out of it more? The rest of them. And we have a fantastic boss battle. One of the most interesting boss battles that's been in the game thus far. It wasn't just you're here and they're there and you have at them. There was a central little thingy. So there's a door, and you have to destroy the door. That's literally, you're literally hitting the door. And you try to hit it until it dies, and it doesn't do anything. It just is there. But there's also a central thingy that's like a controller. It's like a security device controller, and you can hit that too. And the security device controller summons mobs. But if you kill the controller, then it won't summon any mobs anymore for a while. It does recover eventually. So you kill the mobs, you kill the security controller, and then you hit the wall until the security controller recovers. That's pretty much it. But also, there's these 4 pistons that are moving up and down, and you can't attack them or anything. It's just like platform style. You just have to not let them squish you or ignore them. Because at this point, Rain is casting her spell Nurse every 5 seconds, and it's awesome. I finally have a good healing situation. Great boss, super interesting. But what's the important plot point here is that someone has been here before, maybe trying to get in and get the stuff we're here for. Someone's fucking shit up. On the way out, you realize who it was. Yes, as Sam was saying, it's a person who is tied in with Regal's backstory. But what's cool is they show up and Regal's like, "It's you." And they're like, "It's you, Regal. We haven't seen you since the incident. And we'll never forgive you for the thing that you did," right? And it seems like this guy betrayed Regal in the past, or maybe Regal betrayed him. Some shit went down. And I'm like, oh, boss battle time. But instead, Regal basically is like, "Don't fucking mess with me." And the guy's like, "Uh-oh," and runs off. Thus establishing Regal as a badass.
And also, this guy with his dumb haircut, you may recognize as the person who was talking to Presea when we first got to Mount Tokyo, and was like, "Oh, the plan everything's going according to plan. Don't fuck it up."
Everything is going according to Keikaku.
Exactly.
Yes.
Keikaku means plan.
So, inhibitor ore in hand, we head back to Ozette to give it to Presea. Lloyd has to make a shitty one again. Cue everyone saying this is the ugliest fucking key crest I've ever fucking seen. And
I love how they just keep roasting Lloyd.
And also, it's relevant to the scene, but it's a background detail. Did you notice how much better the Papal Knights are at drawing Lloyd than the designs are?
Yes, I took a picture of that. Yeah, it's funny that the game doesn't draw attention to it. There's wanted signs here as well. You can see them in the graphics, but unlike before, you can't click on them and get any cute dialogue. But yeah, it actually looks a lot like Lloyd.
Yeah, it doesn't look as much like a Beavis and Butthead character.
But So because there are wanted posters and we weren't hiding our face or anything, the Papal Knights are there in Ozette looking for us, and we're like, shit, time to murder churchmen. And so we fight them, take them out really easy. They haven't been hard since the first time we fought them. They even gave a new one this time, but he's still you just attack the new one because you can tank the little ones.
The game in general for me has pretty much stopped being hard after last week, which had some tough cookies. This week mostly it was just pretty chill. I have really stopped having I think I've died a few times, but it's always been you die, you think for a little bit about the boss you just fought and modify your party a little bit accordingly, maybe modify their AI a little bit, and then just try again but better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll be excited to learn if the same thing for the next couple of bosses that we have, because Gnome in particular kicked my ass at the Earth Temple. But so after the fight with the Papal Knights, Colette collapses in pain, and Presea shows up to go and help her. But what she actually does is she helps Rhieards kidnap Colette. Oh shit. So Rhieards swoops in on his literal dragons, and he picks up Colette and is going to pick up Presea, and they're all going to escape. But Sheena summons Corinne, who knocks Presea down, and Rhieards doesn't actually give a shit about her, so he still just leaves with Colette off into the distance after introducing himself as one of the Desian Grand Cardinals. So he goes away, and we're like, so Presea, here's your key crest so you can think about the bad things that you just did. And she's like, oh shit, I'm so sorry, but I have to go home, and things aren't adding up in my brain. I have to go check on it. So she runs home, and of course sees that her dad has been dead for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
She pretty fucked up.
Yep. And so she's real sad, and she says that Varley gave her a weird X-sphere, and she accepted it because she wanted to get stronger so that she could use an axe to gather the sacred wood while her dad was sick.
If she wanted an axe, she should have gotten an axe sphere.
Yeah. She should have read the fine print. But so she mentions how the thing with Presea is there's a whole lot of skits about her backstory that you can learn things, and I don't remember where you learn it, when you learn it, but somewhere around her getting her memory back, you learn that I think it's one of the NPCs that says that she's been alive for 30 years in her and she hasn't grown up. And then there's a skit that talks about how she has younger sisters. She has a younger sister. And somewhere around here, Regal asks her, do you have an older sister? And Presea's like, no. Why would I have an older sister? And he's like, never mind. You just look so much like her. ... And
it's made very clear that one reason why Regal has decided to help us and be good now, basically, is because of some softness in his heart regarding Presea. We don't know what it is, but something about her older/younger sister that he doesn't realize because of the age mix-up. Also, I gotta say, anime character who looks like a child but is actually much older. Danger.
Yeah. Thankfully, they don't ever do anything weird with it. Where most anime,
because I was because anytime
Zelos
I see that,
keeps calling her cutie and honey and things like that. But Zelos is also.
Yeah, but anytime I see that trope in anime, I'm like, where's this going?
And Zelos, at the very least, he's cutie and flirting with her, but he's never actually Wow, so since you're technically 37,
I think he definitely just thinks she's a cute little kid.
That means, it feels brotherly in a way that it doesn't for.
But I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear that the spoiler that nothing that is going to really suck happens. Good to know that up front.
Yeah, yeah. So Presea is like, well, I'm really sorry that I got your friend kidnapped. If you were 10 minutes earlier with this key crest, things would have gone differently. I feel like I owe you. And obviously, I have no family left, apparently. So I'm going to join you. And we're like, hell yeah, definitely. Come join us. We forgive you for all the crap. And then Regal is like, so I want to officially join the group as well. And we're like, sure. Like, gotta have every character from the anime opening in our party. Like, gotta do it. So we head outside from Presea's house, and Kratos shows up. He's like, hey, so Rodile is, yes, he's technically a Desian Grand Cardinal, but he's not acting on the whims of Crucius or the Desians.
He's literally
or
like,
anything.
I don't know what's up with him, man.
Yeah, he's gone rogue as fuck, so you should go and kill him because it would be good for me. And also, he has Colette, so go and do the thing. And he's like, or you could just ignore it because whatever he's trying to do with Colette isn't important because she's useless now anyways. And we're like, what do you mean she's useless? And he goes, I said too much. And Lloyd's like, she's our friend. No matter what, we're going to save her. And so Kratos is like, okay, well, to get to where he is, you're going to need the Rhieards because he has a flying island. He doesn't say that directly, but that's where you go to fight him. Is on a flying island next week. So he's like, you got to go and get your Rhieards, and he then leaves. And Sheena's like, well, let's go check back in Mizuho because they said that we could use their spy network last week. So let's go talk to them, see if they found anything about found out about the Rhieards. So we head on over to Mizuho, and we talk to the chief, and he says that they have indeed found the Rhieards. They are at the Tetheala base, but we can't really go and steal them because they don't have any fuel. And the only way to get the fuel will be if Sheena makes a pact with Volt. So he's like, Sheena, go and do the thing. And she freaks out. Is like, how dare you ask me, the only summoner left in both worlds, to make a pact with the summon spirit? And she runs out. And you then get a cool little Legend of Dragoon style hangout scene where you can talk to everybody, and every person is like, Lloyd, Sheena obviously has a crush on you. She'll probably listen. Go and talk to her, see what's up, help her out, go and do the thing. And so you go to talk to her, and you find out that when she had talked about failing to make a pact with Volt before she came over to Silverant, and apparently when she failed to make the pact with Volt, Volt went crazy and torched over half of Mizuho to the ground, and like most of the people that lived there died. And she doesn't want to fail everybody again because they already are a like super small culture, and they are a super small town. If you kill another half of people that's left, it'd basically be her left, and she doesn't want to do that, and she doesn't think that she can do it. So there's a really sweet scene with Corinne, her little summon dog thing, and Lloyd, who convince her like, hey, you've like that was before you then went and made a pact with Undini and Sylph in my game, and Ifrit not in my game, and all of these things, and list it all, and like, you can do this. And she's like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Let's go to the Temple of Lightning. So we then head to my favorite dungeon in the entire game.
It's really good.
It's really cool. It was kind of frustrating because I'm really bad at like older 3D games and maneuvering.
Yeah.
Like,
well, also,
I still like I didn't fall off accidentally. Like, I did have to like do the grab on thing, but
there's one annoying thing about this dungeon, which is that you have to go into these dark rooms, and it's the classic thing where it's like, this room is pitch black, but then the lightning strikes, and it all lights up for a few seconds, and then you gotta run past, and then it gets dark again, and then you just have to sit there and do nothing. Why wait for lightning strike again? And if you fall off, you gotta hit B or circle or whatever the button a whole bunch of times so that you know you don't actually. And that takes a couple of seconds, and sometimes the path gets pretty thin. And I enjoyed doing it, but you have to do it over and over and over because of backtracking, like a billion times. I will say
there are 4 of those rooms total, and 2 of them you go through twice, and it's gross.
Okay, 2 of them you probably go through twice if you know the optimal path through the dungeon.
Maybe so.
I had to go through them a lot more times than that. But in addition, I will say though, by the end of it, I was like, bitch, I ain't gonna stop moving when it gets dark. I'm just gonna keep on trucking. I know this layout. I go up, and then I go to the right, and then I go down, and sometimes I actually manage to get through like a good like a decent chunk of it without fucking up. But yeah, having to do those parts over and over and over was kind of obnoxious. But everything else about the dungeon, like, we're talking like, it was like Zelda dungeon levels of like really, really interesting mechanical sort of bit, and all the way that all the bits fit together was super cool and fun.
Speaking of those dark rooms, so when I played this game for the first time, I didn't get this far, but had I done it on the GameCube, the dark rooms, when viewed on a CRT with bad gamma, which is most CRTs, you can just see it the whole time.
Only on the GameCube one, because remember, I am playing on a CRT, but sadly, I guess my gamma's too good.
They fixed it in the PS2 version, and this one's based on the PS2 version. So, yeah, you can't quite just cheat.
You can see a little bit when it's dark, but like, it depends on the where you're at in the zone. Like, there might be certain parts you can see where you can do the path, and other places where you can't.
Yeah. But so we make our way through this super kick-ass dungeon, and like this dungeon was so good. When I played it the first time, I like had ideas on like dungeony thingies I would build up, like riffing on this idea and stuff, and it was super cool. But so when you get to the deepest part of the temple, Volt shows up, and Sheena's like, "Hey, I want a pact with you," but Volt doesn't speak. He just like gurgles. Thankfully, Rain speaks gurgles, and she's like, "I'm fluent over 3 million forms of communication."
Squeaking.
I was gonna make that
I'm
joke.
sorry.
God damn it!
And so Volt is like, "I'm the one who is bound to Mythos.
You owe me a new acorn."
And we're like, wait, how can Mythos make pacts with summoned spirits in both worlds? Like, I thought the worlds were separate and everything. And for right now, I played to the original stopping spot because I had an early spot, so I don't remember if we learned more about this yet.
Yeah, this is where the big twist happens. So yeah, Sam, earlier you were like, yeah, no plot happens in this segment. And then I was reading the section and I was like, yes it does, Sam. So here we have a really big twist, actually. Remember how our entire goal at this point in the game is, oh no, the whole way that the world works is fucked, and we're just going to defy God and nature by fixing this hourglass problem, basically, because the whole world is dependent on the world leeching off of each other. It's like the whole like fundamental structure of the universe is very brutally unfair, and we got to fix that, but we really don't know how at all. We literally have no clues and frankly no leads, and are mostly just trying to do simple things such as rescue people who got kidnapped or find our Rhieards. Well, in going to this place, they just fixed it on accident, basically. Not exactly fixed it, but they...
I wasn't talking about that part of the twist. I was going to get there. I was talking about the the thing about Darius Carlon and how Mythos was there in both worlds. But I think that happens later.
Yeah, that must happen later.
But,
yeah, sorry, I thought you were forgetting when this big scene happens.
No.
Which, frankly, it probably could have happened later. It would have been fine if it had, but it happens here. So, okay, you go on.
Yes. Yeah, so my original stopping spot was at least get to this part because of the big
Gotcha.
twist. So Sheena's like, hey, form a pact with me, and Rain's like, I don't want to make a pact, because I hate people. And Volta's like, I don't give a shit, and he zaps everybody. And Sheena's like, oh no, this is exactly what happened last time. She starts to like freak the fuck out. So Volta's about to zap her, and Corinne jumps up and takes the full force of the zappy zap and sacrifices himself to take care of Sheena. And it's super
Poor little
sad.
squirrel baby.
And
him do or die.
And then Corinne is like with his last breath is like, Volt's just lost his faith in people. Show him that it's still okay to have faith in people and don't give up. You can do it. And then the funniest thing in the whole game. So he's already like laying on the ground, basically dead. But the animation to show that he finally dies is like stage acting death, where like his whole body convulses. And it took me all the way out. I laughed so fucking hard. It's so good. But a bit of a not great for a very emotional moment. It's so good. So Sheena Resolute stands up and she says a variation on the pact that she made all the time in Silverant. This time she's like, for the sake of everyone that risked their lives to protect me, I demand your power, which is dope. And then we have a hard boss fight.
Unless you're me, in which case... Oh, guess what I learned to do? Press the fucking B button.
Hell yeah.
I guess this one... No, this one didn't even take me 2 tries. So here's the thing. This one actually really trips me out. You know why? Because every summon spirit we've gone to before doesn't put you in danger of game over, right? Because for the previous... I mean, when we activated seals, they were. But when we went back to them to get the summons, remember? They're like, you gotta defeat me. And then if you don't defeat them, instead of doing game over, it's like, sorry, come back later. So because of that, I hadn't saved. I mean, I had saved somewhere in the dungeon, but I hadn't, like, after I completed the puzzle of the dungeon, I hadn't, like, backtracked to go save again, because I figured it'd be the same thing. But no, this time around, the summon isn't just testing you to see if you're worthy, it is trying to kill you. So I was really stressed out on this battle, but I made it through.
Nice. So we end up beating winning the battle, and Volt is like, fine, make your vow. And Sheena's like, I want, for the sake of everyone that risks lives to protect me, I want to save both worlds. And so Volt is like, all right, bet. I entrust my power to the Pact Maker, Sheena. And then after we do that, Undine shows up. And by the way, speaking of Star Wars jokes that we made a second ago, every time I read Undine, when I'm voice acting it, I say, Undine! Of course I do.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? And so she shows up and is like, so the mana link between me and Volt has been severed. And we're like, what does that mean? And her and Volt say, I don't fucking know. We're just severed. So then we're like, okay, so this means blah, 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 but what does that mean? And they're like, I don't fucking know. I just know it's been severed. Okay, so ABC, XYZ, what does that mean? Look, I just work here.
This is a Wendy's.
None of the characters have any idea why this is happening. You kind of just lucked out. But yeah, basically the whole problem is the worlds are tied together, right? And they both have the mana is shared between them. For some reason, activating generally when someone goes on a pilgrimage, they're from one of the universes, like from Sylphront. So the Sylphront chosen one will go and activate all 5 of the whatever, the summoned spirits and whatever, and then they'll reverse the flow, right? And then later someone from Tetheala will go and do all 5 and reverse the flow. But since Colette, or rather Sheena, did a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B, did some from the first universe and then now one from the second universe, apparently that like fucked up the system and is breaking the 2 worlds apart, which sounds great for us. That's exactly what we were trying to do, and they're just like, congratulations.
We're like,
it's like, sure, so I'll take it.
Yeah, like let's go do that. Now we have like a plan.
Yeah.
And
so if we go do the rest of the dungeons and the rest of the shirts, then apparently the idea is that it'll completely sever the link.
Mm-hmm. So we make our way out of the dungeon to go and check on if we can get the Rhieards, and Orochi meets us at the front, and he says that they found the Rhieards. It's real close by, but it's under the sea. So the only way to get there is through basically an elevator in the fjordy-ass islands right close by. And we're like, dope, awesome, let's go there. So we do. And when we get there, one of the guard that's there is a Mizuho person in disguise. So we just walk in the front door, and it's super cool. So right when we get inside, Zelos is missing, but he shows back up right away. So we don't know what's up with that.
I'm suspicious.
Yeah, he does the anime thing where he's like, I think he said something like he had like a backup plan that he was just checking on. I forget, but yeah, he was probably doing something sneaky.
He was doing a go tell the Pope, I think.
And so we have to make our way to the hangar, and on paper it should be super easy because there's only one pathway to the hangar, but the door has a passcode, and he couldn't find out the passcode. So we have to go get it ourselves in the dungeon. And the thing sucks is I know the passcode. I knew it the whole time. I went in and I typed it in, and it just says error, must initialize passcode. So you actually have to go
do it.
Yeah. I was about to ask if you could just guess it, or like.
That's a shame.
The way that the guy made it sound was like it changes every time. Yeah. So I was like, well, there's only 3 options for each one. Could I just go through and
brute force it?
Yes.
That's literally only 27 options.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can't.
No, apparently not.
And according to this Let's Play, the one that they got is different than mine. So I think it's random for each playthrough. I just happened to get the same one. Or I got close enough to the one where it felt the same in my head. And it might have been like, because one of the options is the light of, the other is the life of. So maybe I just had mixed them up. But we make our way to the hangar. This dungeon was also really good. It's been the best design place that we've gone to so far. I really liked the puzzles here. But we get to the hangar, and Ewan is there, and he's like, I knew you would come if we waited long enough, and here you are. And Ewan's just like, well, we're going to fight first before we do anything. And so you have a boss fight with Ewan. And Ewan tosses away his cape and grabs a kick-ass Darth Maul-ass halberd, and he dies really easy. I was like in a JRPG spiral, but most of that is because so we already talked about how the technical localization of this game is not great, and one of the ways it is not great is I got an EX skill for Rain called Nimble Mage. Nimble Mage, this game says she can move around while casting. And I'm like, that's
really
dope.
Good.
Well, what it means is so casting as in preparing to make the spell, and she has the signaturgy on the ground underneath her. She can't move during that, but casting the spell as in she raises her.
So the actual casting animation, not the
it.
long fucking wait period.
Yeah. So because I was like hoping she would do that and like kind of relying on that, I kept like, oh, she's next to Ewan casting a spell. It's no big deal. I'm not going to like use Beast or something and try and interrupt because she can just run away. And then she wasn't running away. And so I got, I had to like claw myself back from that. But overall, they went down pretty quickly. What was it for you, Maddy?
It was pretty chill. I think I actually did die once. He hits pretty hard, actually. It's a pretty hard hit. But then again, on my second playthrough, it was pretty chill.
Yeah. So, after the fight, Ewan is like, "How could I lose to inferior beings?" And then he's like, "Lloyd, to think that your X-Sphere is really evolving," and we're like, "Wait,
what the fuck are you talking about?"
What now?
Like, tell us more. But then rumble, huge ass earthquake because we just fucked up a quarter of the whole world's like foundation. So we take the opportunity during the earthquake to hop on the Rhieards and get the fuck out of there. So we do. After we fly out, Boda and Ewan are talking, and they're like, I think they figured it out. I think they broke a mana link. And we're like, shit.
That is what we did.
That is exactly what we did. And then the final line before it fades to black and we stop for the week is Ewan says, "Let them go. Our little friend can tell us where they are at any time." So don't trust the fact that Zelos disappeared when we got there. Fuck that guy.
What a bitch.
Once we're flying in the air, we save our game and we will talk about it next week. So we're like, oh, our quest is now go and get the summon spirits. The beginning of next week will be about 3 hours of gameplay where you do that. And that's just what you do. And after that, more of the plot picks up. So we'll pick up where we left off next week. For now, we will listen to some music and talk about our memorable moments. So the only one I have, I don't remember if it's from this week or next week. I think it's next week. But I want to say it now. So they're talking about how there's a Tower of Salvation in both worlds, and so and they're like, yeah. So it's kind of it's like the magnetic north of both worlds is where the Tower of Salvation is. And Rain says, "Ah, yes, bipolar. I knew it." It tickled me pink that she would use bipolar in that way. Did I take any others? I don't think I did.
I have one.
Go for it.
There is a so after Presea. I should remember her name because Presea is the name of a character in fucking Magic Knight Rhieards, which is one of my favorite anime mangas of all time. Anyway, so after Presea gets the X-Sphere, so that like she can talk and do things, and she starts like poking at Corinne. Like she notices it's a skit, but she notices Corinne and she starts poking him, and is like paw pads, and she's all excited to be playing with Corinne, and you get a title for her, and I can't remember what it is, but as I recall, it was very cute.
Yeah, it's like Paw Pal or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It was just a very cute scene.
Yeah.
I really like who Presea is turning out to be.
Yeah, she's pretty dope. I had just a couple. When you're in, I forget if this is which of the villages really hates half elves.
Oh, Ozette.
Ozette. Okay, yeah. When you're in Ozette, there's they're all like really racist against half elves, and eventually Lloyd's just like, I'm just so sick of everyone being racist against everyone else all the time. What is wrong with you people? But anyway, in a shop, you talk to some guy, and he's basically like, man, the bigotry against half elves is really ridiculous here. And then and I'm paraphrasing, but then the next line, which I got a screenshot of, he goes, "Of course, I don't like half elves either, but when it's like this bad, even I start to feel sick." So he basically like, look, folks, we all hate half elves. I'm just saying, y'all are getting a little over the top with it. Can y'all just be normal about it, like me?
Like, let's keep our bigotry a little bit more subtle.
Yeah, these people are way too racist, even for me, a racist. Another fun thing is so in one of the scenes, it's like the rock scene or whatever. Yeah, you confront Regal and you're like, what the heck? And Regal admits a little bit. He's like, yeah, I'm actually a prisoner serving time for the crime of murder. And everyone's like, murder? Is that okay? Murder? And I'm like, y'all, we murk so many people in this game.
I actually, that was one of my min moms for the opposite reason. Every single person then is like, yeah, we've been murdering people the entire time. That's totally fine.
Well, it takes them a bit to get there, though. At first, they're very shocked. And then they don't actually say we murdered a lot of people. What they do is basically say, like, we've all got our skeletons in our closet, you know? But
Lloyd straight up says that he caused a lot of people to die.
Yeah.
Oh, but Lloyd means because of his tragic backstory. I get what you're saying.
Up, his stupidity has caused people to die.
Right, but I'm talking about the fact that we're murking people in random battles every 5 seconds.
Yeah, maybe it was in
what I'm talking about.
Maybe it was in a skit or something, because
I remember Lloyd being like, yes, I've been responsible for deaths, which isn't the same thing.
Yeah, I want to say Genus says, I've killed a lot of people.
He does.
So,
yeah.
Maybe that's
might have been a skit or something.
Anyway, there's a scene where I thought I watched all of them this time. There's a skit where you were talking. It's I only got one screenshot, but it looks like it's Lloyd. What's the new Presea and Zelos, and basically they're talking about how they trust Sheena. I think they might be trusting Sheena for joining us, which actually happened last week, but maybe I was watching the skit late. Maybe I was watching it. You know, it's like a skit that I unlocked last time. Whatever. They're talking about how they trust Sheena or something. And Zealous is like, wow, the fact that y'all have such beautiful mutual trust is like, it's so cool how much y'all trust each other. And basically Lloyd and Janice think that, like, they think that he's, like, calling them cringe. Basically, like they think that he's being like sarcastic, basically, and is like making fun of them for being cringe, basically. And they're like, "What? Shut the fuck up!" And he's like, "No, like I'm not dunking. Like I actually think it's really sweet. Like, I mean, if I was in the situation, y'all wouldn't trust me that blindly and implicitly." And Lloyd's like, "Yes, I would." And then he's like, okay, well, that's weird. I don't get it. But yeah, he was like, Zelos. I actually really like Zelos. He's a sweetheart. He was being really genuine in this scene, and like they they didn't realize he was being genuine. And let's see, there's another, finally the other scene is, so in this game, if you recall, last week we got our first access to a boat, first vehicle we've had in the game. Quite a long time to wait to get a vehicle in the game, especially considering we're going to get an airship not long after. Kind of weird. But anyway, we get the boat, but we're stuck in the shallows, so you can't really do anything. You're just like trapped in this little inland sea, which is something that a lot of games have done. DQ6 famous does it. Actually, Final Fantasy 1 does it, where it's like, you get a boat, total freedom, except not really. And then later you can actually go anywhere, right? So this week was you can actually go anywhere now. But for me, I ended up doing it a lot earlier because I'm big into exploring and stuff. And last week I saved outside of the town of Ozette like I was supposed to last week, but then I didn't actually go inside Ozette. I went to go explore some more, especially because I haven't found the lodestone for this area yet, so I still can't use fucking writing on top of Noish. Yeah. Noish. So I explore and I find a dock and I'm like, oh cool, time to boat it up. And then I realize I'm outside of that little inland sea, so I can just boat all around the world. So I just start boating all around. And it turns out I went to 3 locations, and 2 of them were the 2 dungeons we did this week. One of them was a base. It's called Teathala Base, and I was like, oh, I guess we'll come here later. Nothing even happened. It was just there was a door and I couldn't get in. And the other place was the Lightning Temple, and I go there, and the line was a little bit funny, actually. I think they were like, whoa, this looks scary. And then Sheena says something like, yeah, come on, we'll do this later.
Yeah.
She says, we'll do this one later, which I thought is a really funny, it's like, she's been around the block a couple times. She knows how JRPGs work. It may not have even been Sheena, it may have been somebody else. But they're like, oh, it's a temple where we have to go and it's an elemental temple that we've already done 5 of. Yeah, we'll probably end up doing this one later. She showed nonchalant about it. It was very cute to me. But yeah, so I did all it. But one of the reasons I did so much exploration, was because I couldn't fucking find Altissa's house. Because when you're in Ozette, they're like, go south to Altissa. So I go south, but here's the thing. If you go south, there's this little open field, and there's pretty much nothing in it, except there is a little area on the world map you can walk into that is a house. And to me, it didn't really look like much.
It doesn't look like a house at all.
It just looks like a slightly different than normal area of rock in the mountain. So but probably there's a pretty decent chance that you just accidentally walk into it. I did not accidentally walk into it. So I'm exploring all over the world, because sometimes there's a mismatch between a game's writing and a game's design. So maybe when they said go south, what they meant was go south halfway around the world to a different continent or to an island. It wasn't until I went and looked at the synopsis, which very clearly said the heroes decide to go through the forest in order to get to Altissa, that I was like, okay, it has to be here. And then I went and tried again and just fucking found it. It was literally right there.
So that actually reminds me of a thing, because it's the very next thing we have to do. The characters for the first time in the game have not really told you where we're going with these Rhieards. So check the synopsis. The words won't say anything, but the map for all the synopsis things tell you where your destination is with the big white crosshairs. So that's where we're headed when we start, are those big white crosshairs.
Thanks for that. Anyway, the final place that I found while exploring is to the south. Oh, also in this game, they keep talking about how the mine is on the, quote, southern continent. But because this game follows typical JRPG rules, aka the world is torus-shaped, you can go 3/4 of the way across the map to the bottom of the southern continent. Or you can go north for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Which you can see where the mine is from where you start to the north of you on the map. It's very funny. I didn't realize that till later, but it was the case. But anyway, I accidentally, not too far from the mine actually, there's a little island. And on that island, all there is basically a little cathedral. And you go there, and nothing happens. It's just you're there, there's a little cathedral, and some girl you talk to, and she's like, welcome to the whatever church. I never thought I'd actually get a chance to say that. And she you learn through context that this is just a really remote, out of the way little convent, and no one ever comes here, and nothing happens there. You just talk to a couple NPCs. There's not even like a save point or a inn like there would be in a Dragon Quest game. But it's really, I have really come to love this game's graphics isn't quite the right word, but this game is world design and its architecture and its 3D environments. They sneak up on you. They're not flashy. Nothing in this game is flashy. Nothing in this game is flashy. And 50% of the time, the flashiness, you eventually realize it's actually really beautiful and wonderful. It's just, it didn't immediately impress you because it wasn't flashy. The other 50% of the things aren't flashy, and by the end of the game, or by this point in the game, I'm still not particularly into it. But it's cool how some things really sneak up on you. Anyway, the environment here, it's just like the smallest little church you've ever seen. And it's this side-on 2D view, and it's just like two little pews, like a couple little chairs, a little bitty little altar. It's like the way it's framed is just really gorgeous, and I loved it. And finally, when you're traveling on the world map, you see that this would not be a JRPG if it did not include, that's right, a floating continent.
Hell yeah.
There's a floating continent. You can't go there because it's floating, but you can drive your boat under it. And I think it's really cool that they foreshadow the floating continent, not by anyone talking about it, but by literally you just seeing it hanging out there on the world map, which is cool. And I guess once we get our Rhieards, we can go there.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right, so I was looking through the ones that I had this week and saw that I had missed some last week, so I want to say them because they are incredibly good.
Sure.
So in Tokyo, outside of the Coliseum, you run into a nurse character. You go to talk to her, and she goes, "I'm in charge of first aid. I can even revive the dead with my bandages." I'm like,
that's some talent.
I don't know of any dead person you can put enough Band-Aids on to bring them back to life.
Just slap a Band-Aid on there.
And then when we get trapped when we go to get our Rhieards from last week, and we walk right into the trap, Zelos says, "Gah, I am so sad now." And it's a voiced line, and he says it exactly like that. It's so good.
Yeah, it's good.
But then this week, I did a whole lot of exploring and flying around to look for things when I got the Rhieards, and there's a series of skits. Like the skits are awesome because normally there's like one or two that you're intended to really get between point A and point B, but if you're out just exploring all over the world, you run into a whole lot more. And so the series of skits that I ran into was Lloyd starts off and he's like, "Hey Genus, hand me your kendama. I wanna play some cup and ball. I think I got this." And he sucks at it. And then I think it's Colette is like, "Oh, let me try it." And she sucks at it. It's not Colette, it's somebody else. It doesn't matter who. And that person sucks at it hard enough that that they accidentally throw it and it hits Rain in the back of the head, and so Rain gets super pissed. And so then the next one goes, and Lloyd is trying again, and it starts off where it's just like Lloyd and Rain in the skit. So he's practicing it, and then Zelos walks in, and then Regal walks in, and then Presea, and so it's like the whole gang, like all 9 portraits, just like crowded over each other, trying to do it. And Colette gets it at the end, and she tries to do it, and she trips, and it's flying towards Rain, and we're like, "No, not again!" And it veers off at the last second, and we're like, "What the hell happened?" And it's like, I think Colette like used some angel magic on it or whatever. And then the final one I think is Regal or something, and he's like really good at the kendama just because, and it was super cute. It's like the fact that over my like hour of exploring the world or whatever, I had this like continual little skit thing going on. It was really good, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, like that's my favorite thing about skits in the Tales games, is because like if the 3 of us were actually going and like going through a dungeon, we probably wouldn't talk about the plot as in we're going through this dungeon and we have to flip all these levers the whole time. We would definitely be like, oh, okay, like we're kind of in the groove of things, flipping levers and fighting monsters and shit. Did you guys catch Breaking Bad this weekend and just like start talking about random shit?
Start riffing, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like what the skits are, is everyone just riffing together.
I wish they would do that while you were like able to go through the dungeon instead of pausing all of the action.
I suggest playing future Tales games.
I saw the most cursed fucking tweet this week. Cursed, but actually like because it was extremely accurate. It was like, imagine if it was like imagine if a guy who like talks to himself the way that AAA game characters do, and like he wants to go to the bathroom, so he opens the door and he's like, "All right, let's go to the bathroom." Ooh. Opening up the commode now. All right, let's get this zipper down. Oh, sure is coming out. Like just doing these stupid quips every 5 seconds. I'm like, yeah, that is 100% true. AAA characters, video game characters, be saying shit like that, and it drives me insane. I don't have the wording of the tweet exactly, but it was really funny. And it's like, like the characters wouldn't be like, all right, time to flip this switch, guys. They'd just be like, hey, Sheena, like, what's with like, what's your deal?
Yeah.
How you doing?
What's going on with you and Zelos?
Or they would just say nothing, like eventually, like, again, like with my second and my 2 jobs, like I'm working with someone else the whole time, but I'm not going to be like, hey man, how's your weekend? It's like, dog, I'm working.
I want an awkwardly silent JRPG party that just like, they don't really care that much about each other. They're just kind of like, we're just doing this for whatever, and like they try to make awkward small talk every now and then, but they're all like really bad at it, and they finally just decide to like work in complete silence.
So that's kind of how the skits start in Tales of Berseria, because Velvet is the most emo JRPG protagonist literally of all time, and Vincent fucking Valentine has his own game.
I was gonna say I've heard some things about Cloud.
Yeah, well, Cloud actually isn't emo.
Oh, he's just broody.
No, he's not. He's a dork.
The fans of the game just literally forgot what his actual character is, because sometimes fans of things can be extremely wrong about them. Yeah,
because apparently he's real broody in the remake.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's a dork in the remake. People just
he's just like he's a weird broody guy.
He's broody in Kingdom Hearts because they gave him a broody They gave him Vincent's backstory in Kingdom Hearts. Cloud of Kingdom Hearts is just Vincent. He even wears his costume. But so people look at that and they remember that and forget the actual game where he's a dork. He is a like Cloud's literal like defining character trait is that he is basically a 16-year-old kid had a, for spoiler reasons, like fugue state for 5 years. So he's just has the brain of a 16-year-old trying to be a young adult and say things that he thinks are cool, but he's actually a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he is very quiet. He is very quiet all the time, but a lot of the time his quiet is literally because he's just confused or doesn't know what's going on. Yeah, no, he is a sweet lad who really wants to be cool, but also has an extremely broken brain. And the game doesn't away from it. And yeah, no, I don't know why people get Cloud so wrong in media. It's very
interesting. That's very interesting, because I have a friend who is just like, she's all about FF7, and she talks about how Cloud is just so broody.
No, so
it's just not true. No, later on he does get very depressed, but that's for very specific reasons, not because it's his personality.
I mean, I could guess what it is because I know the big twist or spoiler.
Actually, it's unrelated to that, but yes.
Meanwhile, Squall is 100% broody, and I feel people are just remembering Squall.
Yep. I think people have reverse engineered Squall. I think people have reverse engineered Cloud to be Squall. Yeah, I think so.
I know a guy who RPs as Squall in Final Fantasy XIV.
Nice.
Which is kind of hilarious to me.
Does he say ... a lot?
I don't know. I only know him through Twitter. There's a big contingent of Final Fantasy XIV players who play as NPCs or like characters from other Final Fantasy games. It's kind of cool.
Once again,
Nice.
Yeah,
I have no idea what any of you people are doing.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah, so the beginning of Tales of Berseria has super emo Velvet in it, and she does not want to form a JRPG party. Like, you get, like, me and Summer play it together, so she needs to be my player 2, and player 2 doesn't show up for like 4 hours of the game while you're traveling with 6 other people. She just doesn't care. She's not going to, like, they are not in her party. She is doing her own thing, and so these skits will pop up, and like I forget his name. It sounds like Rougarou, but it's not Rougarou. I just think it every time it pops up. But he's like, hey, so what do you think about blah, blah, blah? And she's like, ... And he's like, well, I think we should go and do blah, blah, blah because we need blah, blah, blah. And she's like, ... And he's like, good talk, man. And it's great. It's those awkward, silent JRPG skits that you were hoping for. But that game's great, and I was going to stack the deck and make us play that one, but it's not popular enough to be a sellout game, so it'll happen down the line because it's really fucking good. But yeah, that's all I have for this week. Anything else before we skedaddle?
No, I'm good to go, and it is right around time for my nappy nap.
Awesome. So if you liked what you heard this week, you can check us out on the web at www.rpgbook.club, where you can find links to all of our socials, and you can donate to help us keep our lights on around here. And if you do donate, you can vote in our Best of the Rest poll, which last time I checked was it was currently tied where Anachronox was going to win. Let me see if that has changed since then. But if you do not like Anachronox, because why would you? You want us to play something else, you can go and vote. Yes, Anachronox is still winning.
Well, to be clear, you would specifically need to vote for whatever's in second place and give that number 1, and then give Anachronox 4.
Yes, so if you want us to play Hexus Force, you can give Hexus Force a 1 and Anachronox a 4.
And will that knock it?
That'll knock it.
Gotcha.
There's a 2-point difference there.
There you go.
Otherwise, you'll have to coordinate with your friends to review bomb.
If you give Anachronox 4, but then if you do it wrong, Anachronox might still win.
Yes. So
I liked Bernard saying, and this ensures that no one is happy.
Yes.
Classic Bernard being very cynical. This ensures that no one gets a game that they hate.
Yeah. So if you hate Anachronox, you can affect the poll and maybe snipe it. But so I think we have 3 games left. So we're going to finish the disc next week. Spoiler. I thought the disc change was the world change, but I'm looking at the guide and it's not. There's a big Lavitz style, not actually Lavitz, but like big plot thing that ends the disc. So we will end the disc next week, and then we're all playing it digitally, so we'll have no idea where the where the disc is. But I'll give a better thing for next time. We'll finish the disc next week, and then it's 2 for the final part of the game. So we're coming up close to running out of time. So if you want to vote, you should do it now. While you're there, you can check out our Ko-Fi exclusive series, Book Club no Kuseki, which we have 2 episodes left in that the first game there. And so we're wrapping up games left and right. So come and check us out. We also recently added merch, and I can now say that the beanies are dope, the shirts are dope, and the phone cases are dope. So if you have a phone, a head, or a torso...
What if I have none of those? Don't you guys have torsos?
Oh, yeah. I got my beanie in the mail and haven't worn it yet because, frankly, I forgot about it about 5 seconds after I acquired it. Also, I mean, it's COVID times. How many times have I gone outside since then? Twice, probably.
I want to get a beanie, but I promised someone I don't own a beanie.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Anyway, the beanie's really dope. Actually, it looks really good. Nice build quality. I did wear it briefly. It's quite comfy. You should get a beanie. It's dope.
Yeah.
I have a t-shirt with my art on it, and it's really cool. I'm very happy.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're happy. But yeah, you can go be like us and have RPG Book Club merch over on our website. Just click on shop and you can get it there. It's currently set up a little weird, and I think I'm going to change how it is, because Ko-Fi doesn't only lets you do 10 variations on a thing, but because I have 5 sizes of 6 colors, I have a lot more than 10. So it's currently like, say your order and then in the comment tell me your size. I think I'm just going to like break out the colors, or pick one color to be the canon color and not have all the variety. But we'll see. I don't know what I'll fucking do. But
I have something I need to shill actually real quick.
Go for it.
My lovely girlfriend has released a game, a board game / role playing game, just a little solo one, on itch.io right now. It came out yesterday. They worked really hard on it. It's called My Neighbor is a Vampire. And it's a game about gossiping about your weird neighbor and what's their deal. I said that. That's not the game's copy. The game's copy is frankly better. But it's really dope. The graphic design of the whole thing is really beautiful. It's very it's very aesthetically layered. It's sort of 90s themed and features slamming pogs as a game mechanic. Excuse me, not pogs, legally distinct monster caps. It's got lots of really cute art and fun writing, and it's $5 or more if you feel like that on itch.io. So go to fightwithfeelings.itch.io. The reason why their handle is Fight with Feelings is because of a game that they're working on that isn't out yet. A much larger, project. Or you can, I retweeted it, or whatever. Or just go to itch and search for My Neighbor is a Vampire. If you just Google it, you won't get it, because that's not a string of words that is very good for Googling for a game that just came out yesterday, right? But yeah, if you're interested in a fun little one-session little role-playing game where you slam some pogs and talk about your neighbor and just sort of have some fun with it, take a look, throw some $5 at my sweet GF, who has sold a decent number of copies of it already, more than 0. Also more than 1, because 1 doesn't count because it's just their mom. But people other than their mom have purchased it, which is really sweet.
Their mom, their dad, and their brother have all done it.
But yeah, just obviously have to do my duty as a girlfriend and tell you all about the cool new game.
Hell yeah, it sounds dope. But yeah, I think that'll do it for the week. So again, we are clearing out the disc, which will be so we will be doing things at the Iselia Human Ranch. A big dramatic thing will happen, and then time will skip forward. That time skipping forward is you switching the discs on your Gamecube.
Gotcha.
So that's where we will stop next week. It's kind of a lot, but it's really not. It's like five dungeons with minimal plot in between. So
cool.
We will do that. And for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I am Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddy Grace Webbin.
Toodaloo, folks.
Toodaloo.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.